In the silent depths of the solar system's asteroid belt, a massive structure took shape, hidden from prying eyes and alien sensors. The United Earth Defense Force had been working in absolute secrecy, constructing a supercarrier that would change the course of human history forever. Captain Jinho Park walked through the cavernous construction bay, his boots echoing against the metallic floor. Massive scaffolding surrounded the ship. Workers in specialized spacesuits moved with precision, welding massive hull sections and installing advanced technology that humanity had kept hidden from the galactic hegemony. Yuna Kim, the lead engineer, sat at her control station, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. The ship's quantum reactor hummed with potential, a heartbeat of technological marvel that represented years of covert research and development. Every component was a testament to human innovation. Systems that could adapt, weapons that could reconfigure, and shielding that defied current galactic understanding. "Status report," Captain Park called out. "Quantum drive at 98% integration," Yuna responded. Her voice was calm, but a hint of excitement trembled beneath her professional tone. This wasn't just a ship, it was humanity's ultimate statement of defiance. The vessel, named Prometheus, was more than a military asset. It was a symbol of human potential, designed to challenge the oppressive galactic hegemony that had been systematically suppressing emerging civilizations for centuries. Its hull was constructed from a unique nanocomposite material that could self-repair and adapt to different combat scenarios. Chief Science Officer Hyuk Choi walked in, carrying a datapad with complex schematics. "The AI integration is complete," he announced. "Araya is fully operational." Araya, the Advanced Responsive Intelligence Assistant, was not just a standard computer system. She was a quantum-based artificial intelligence that could process millions of combat scenarios in microseconds. Her neural networks were built using quantum entanglement principles that made her virtually unpredictable and incredibly adaptive. The workers continued their precise movements. Some sections of the ship were so advanced that even they didn't fully understand the technology they were installing. Specialized quantum capacitors, plasma conduits that could redirect energy with unprecedented efficiency, and stealth systems that could bend light and sensor waves around the entire vessel. Captain Park remembered the meetings that led to this moment. Earth's leadership had realized that traditional military strategies would not work against the hegemony. They needed something revolutionary, something that would not just defend, but completely reshape the galactic power dynamics. Prometheus was that solution. The ship's length stretched nearly 2 kilometers, dwarfing any known military vessel in the galaxy. Its exterior looked deceptively simple, dark metallic panels that could absorb and redistribute energy, making traditional scanning methods completely ineffective. "Final system check," Yuna called out. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing complex system integrations and power flow diagnostics. Guk monitored the quantum reactor stability. One miscalculation could turn this marvel of engineering into the largest explosion the solar system had ever witnessed. But his calculations were precise, his team's work meticulous. Araya's voice suddenly filled the construction bay. "All systems are synchronized. Stealth protocols are engaged. Detection probability, 0.03%. The workers paused, understanding the magnitude of what they were creating. This wasn't just a ship. This was humanity's response to years of galactic oppression, a message that would echo through star systems. Captain Park looked at the massive vessel, a slight smile crossing his typically stern face. The galactic hegemony believed humans were a minor species, technologically primitive, and easily controlled. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Prometheus was ready. Humanity was ready. The universe would never be the same again. The massive galactic hegemony fleet approached the solar system with calculated arrogance. Their warships, hundreds of massive vessels ranging from kilometer-long dreadnoughts to swarm fighters, moved in perfect synchronized formation. Each ship represented centuries of technological domination and countless conquered civilizations. Admiral Raykan, a veteran of multiple galactic subjugations, studied the solar system's sensor readings. Earth appeared defenseless. Primitive planetary defenses, minimal orbital infrastructure, and seemingly no advanced weaponry. This would be another routine conquest. Prepare standard invasion protocols. Raken commanded his bridge crew. His species, the Velox, had conquered over 200 civilizations. Humans would be just another statistic in their expansive galactic record. Unbeknownst to the hegemony fleet, Captain Jinho Park watched their approach through Prometheus's advanced sensor arrays. The quantum stealth systems kept the supercarrier completely invisible, blending perfectly with the surrounding asteroid field. AI, analyze fleet composition, Park whispered. The AI's voice responded with clinical precision. Detecting 247 primary warships. Offensive capability, extreme. Defensive systems, multi-layered energy shielding. Recommendation, strategic surprise attack. Yuna Kim monitored the quantum capacitors, her fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. Years of secret development had prepared them for this moment. Every system on Prometheus was calibrated for maximum shock value. The hegemony fleet continued its methodical approach. Standard invasion doctrine involved overwhelming planetary defenses, followed by ground force deployment. They expected minimal resistance. Hyuk Choi watched the tactical displays, his breath controlled and steady. Decades of research, billions in secret funding, and humanity's collective technological ambition were about to be tested. Weapons systems are hot, he reported. Quantum cannons charged at 100% capacity. Admiral Raken's communication systems pinged with a standard pre-invasion broadcast. Attention planetary leadership. You will comply with galactic hegemony integration protocols. Resistance is futile. Captain Park's hands gripped the command chair. This was humanity's moment of truth. ARIA. Prepare full system activation, he commanded. The quantum reactor on Prometheus began to pulse, its energy building in controlled, almost living waves. The ship's nanocomposite hull started to shimmer, preparing for decloaking. The hegemony fleet moved closer, their massive weapons primed. Swarm fighters began spreading out, preparing standard invasion patterns. They expected to see panicked human defenses, perhaps a few outdated missile platforms. What they would see instead would change galactic history forever. Decloaking in 3, 2, 1. Aria's voice was emotionless. Prometheus materialized directly in the center of the hegemony fleet. Its sudden appearance disrupted their perfect formation. For a brief moment, confusion reigned across hundreds of alien bridges. That moment was all Captain Park needed. Fire quantum cannons, he ordered. Brilliant energy streams erupted from Prometheus, each beam capable of destroying multiple capital ships simultaneously. The quantum weapons worked differently from traditional energy weapons. They didn't just destroy, they unraveled molecular structures at a fundamental level. The first wave of hegemony ships simply ceased to exist. No explosions, no debris, just complete atomic dissolution. Admiral Raken's eyes widened in shock. Impossible, he screamed. But it was happening. Prometheus moved with incredible speed, its quantum drive allowing instantaneous repositioning. Each shot was calculated, each target strategically selected to maximize shock and minimize enemy response. Within minutes, over half the hegemony fleet had been eliminated. The remaining ships scrambled, their perfect invasion formation completely shattered. Humanity had just sent a message to the galaxy. They were not a species to be conquered. They were a species that conquered. The remaining hegemony ships scattered like frightened insects, their sophisticated defense systems completely overwhelmed by Prometheus's unprecedented technological capabilities. Captain Jinho Park watched the tactical displays with calculated precision, each movement of the supercarrier strategically planned. ARIA. Analyze enemy retreat patterns, Park commanded. The quantum eye processed millions of potential scenarios in milliseconds, detecting multiple escape vector attempts. Probability of successful retreat, 12.7%. Hyuk Choi monitored the weapon systems, his fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. The quantum cannons continued to pulse with controlled energy, each beam capable of dismantling entire ship structures at the molecular level. The hegemony vessels tried desperate counterattacks. Their most advanced plasma weapons fired simultaneously, creating a web of destructive energy that would have obliterated any known military vessel. But Prometheus was not a standard ship. Its nano-composite hull absorbed the incoming energy, redistributing it through quantum capacitors. What should have been a devastating attack became nothing more than a minor power surge for the human vessel. Adaptive shielding at maximum efficiency, Yoona Kim reported. Her voice carried a hint of professional pride. Years of secret research had prepared them for this moment. One of the senior hegemony commanders, a veteran of over 50 planetary conquests, watched in absolute horror. His communication systems crackled with panic as ship after ship disappeared from their tactical networks. Prometheus moved with impossible speed. Unlike traditional military vessels that followed predictable movement patterns, this ship could reposition instantly. Quantum drive technology allowed it to appear and disappear, striking with surgical precision. Target their primary command ship, Park instructed. Araya's response was immediate. The quantum cannons focused on a massive vessel at the fleet's center, clearly the primary command structure. Instead of a standard attack, the weapon did something unprecedented. The beam didn't just destroy, it completely deconstructed the ship's molecular structure, leaving nothing behind. No debris, no explosion, just empty space where a kilometer-long warship had existed moments before. Alien communication channels erupted in chaos. Panic spread faster than their fastest communication protocols could manage. The remaining hegemony ships began emergency retreat protocols. But Prometheus was faster. Its targeting systems were so advanced that escape seemed mathematically impossible. Tactical assessment, Park requested. Araya's calm voice reported. Enemy fleet, 87% destroyed. Remaining vessels, non-functional. Probability of future resistance, extremely low. Hyuk Choi watched the final targets disappear. Each destruction was a calculated strike, each movement a demonstration of humanity's hidden technological potential. The battle lasted less than 30 minutes. An invasion force that had conquered hundreds of civilizations was reduced to scattered debris and quantum-dissolved matter. Transmission intercept, Araya suddenly announced, detecting multiple distress signals across galactic communication bands. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer a species to be ignored or conquered. They were a technological force that could reshape galactic power structures with a single vessel. Captain Park allowed himself a small smile. The first message had been sent. The galaxy would never be the same. Prepare transmission to Earth Command, he ordered. Mission accomplished. As Prometheus began its return journey, the quantum reactor hummed with potential. They had done more than win a battle. They had started a revolution. The era of human technological superiority had begun. News of the human victory spread across galactic communication networks faster than light itself. Every subjugated civilization received fragments of the incredible battle. A previously unknown species had completely destroyed the most powerful invasion force in known history. On distant planets, oppressed species gathered around communication terminals. Whispers turned into conversations, conversations into hope. The hegemony, once considered invincible, had been defeated by humans. Captain Jinho Park understood this was more than a military victory. Prometheus began transmitting tactical data, technological blueprints, and strategic information to every monitored communication channel. It was an open invitation to resistance. Araya calculated the potential impact. Transmission reach, 247 known civilizations. Probability of inspiring rebellion, 83.6%. Yoona Kim monitored the data streams. Each transmission contained not just technical information, but a clear message. Resistance was possible. The technological secrets of Prometheus could potentially level the playing field for dozens of subjugated worlds. The first responses came from the Krell mining colonies, a species that had been enslaved for generations. Their communication burst with excitement and raw, desperate hope. They began studying the transmitted data, understanding how a seemingly weak species had developed such advanced technology. HFY processed the incoming communications. Multiple civilizations are analyzing our technological signatures, he reported. They're reverse engineering our quantum communication protocols. Prometheus became more than a weapon. It transformed into a beacon of technological liberation. Hegemony leadership fell into complete chaos. Their intelligence networks couldn't comprehend how a primitive species had developed technology so far beyond current galactic standards. Emergency meetings were called. Diplomatic channels erupted in panic. On Earth, government leaders watched the global communication networks. They understood that this single battle had changed everything. Humanity was no longer an unknown, marginalized species. They were now a major galactic power. The quantum transmissions contained more than just technical data. They included historical records of human resilience, scientific achievements, and cultural diversity. Each transmission was a message. Humans were not just fighters, but innovators. HFY continued broadcasting. Detected increased communication activity. Rebellion potential in hegemony-controlled sectors, increasing by 7% per solar hour. Distant planetary governors began questioning their long-standing control mechanisms. If humans could develop such technology in secret, what other surprises might emerge? Captain Park watched the tactical displays. This was psychological warfare at its most sophisticated level. They weren't just defeating an enemy. They were dismantling an entire system of galactic oppression. The transmission included specific instructions: how to bypass energy shield frequencies, quantum communication encryption methods, weapon system vulnerabilities in hegemony military designs. We're giving them the tools to fight back, Una remarked. Park nodded. Not just tools. Hope. Within weeks, small-scale rebellions erupted across multiple star systems. Colonies that had been silent for generations suddenly showed signs of organized resistance. The hegemony's grip was slipping. Prometheus continued its strategic broadcast. Each transmission was a carefully calculated message of technological empowerment. Civilizations that had been beaten down for centuries were now learning they could resist. The quantum data streams became a lifeline of resistance. Technical blueprints, strategic analyses, communication protocols, all freely shared. HFY's calculations showed something remarkable. Rebellion spread probability. 94.3%. Hegemony control dissolution estimated within 7.2 standard galactic cycles. Captain Park understood the significance. Prometheus was more than a weapon. It was a revolution encoded in quantum frequencies, a beacon of technological hope transmitted across star systems. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had arrived, not with conquest, but with liberation. The galactic hegemony's leadership collapsed like a house of cards. Their centuries of technological suppression crumbled against humanity's unexpected might. Emergency meetings descended into chaos, with senior administrators arguing and blaming each other for the unprecedented defeat. Captain Jinho Park watched the unfolding galactic dynamics from Prometheus's advanced command center. Each communication intercept revealed deeper fractures in the once unified alien power structure. HFY analyzed potential political outcomes, Park requested. The quantum eye processed massive data streams. Hegemony internal conflict probability, 97.3%. Potential complete systemic breakdown within 3 standard galactic cycles. Una Kim monitored the transmission networks. The technological blueprints they had shared were causing massive disruptions. Enslaved civilizations were rapidly developing new technologies, challenging their oppressors with unexpected innovations. HFY tracked the rebellion's spread. What started as small resistance movements were transforming into organized planetary defense networks. The transmission of human technological knowledge had become a catalyst for massive societal changes. On distant worlds, species that had been subjugated for generations began rebuilding their technological capabilities. Mining colonies developed advanced energy systems. Agricultural planets constructed sophisticated defense networks. Communication systems that were previously restricted now flowed freely, detecting multiple independent resistance movements. Araya reported, technological adaptation rate, exponential. The hegemony's central command found themselves facing something unprecedented. Their control mechanisms were being systematically dismantled, not through military force, but through technological empowerment. Captain Park understood the deeper strategy. This wasn't just about defeating an enemy. It was about fundamentally transforming galactic power dynamics. Prometheus continued its strategic broadcasts. Each transmission carried not just technical information, but philosophical concepts of freedom, innovation, and collective progress. The quantum communication networks became classrooms of technological and cultural exchange. Senior hegemony administrators watched in horror as their carefully constructed systems of control disintegrated. Colonies they had controlled for generations were now developing independent technological capabilities faster than anyone could have predicted. We are witnessing a complete reset of galactic power structures, Yuna observed. Park nodded. Not through conquest. Through knowledge. Araya calculated the long-term implications. The shared technology would potentially bring more significant changes than any military campaign. Civilizations were learning, adapting, growing. The quantum transmissions became a lifeline of hope. Technical blueprints mixed with cultural exchanges, scientific discoveries shared across previously isolated star systems. What the hegemony had tried to suppress for centuries was now flowering into an unprecedented era of collective growth. Smaller species that were once considered technologically irrelevant were now developing capabilities that challenged established power structures. Communication networks buzzed with excitement, with potential, with the pure joy of technological discovery. Rebellion spread, acceleration detected. Araya reported, current projection indicates complete hegemony control dissolution in 2.7 standard cycles. The transformation wasn't just technological. It was philosophical. Civilizations were learning that technological progress wasn't a weapon of control, but a tool of collective advancement. Prometheus became more than a military vessel. It transformed into a symbol of possibility, of what could be achieved when knowledge was freely shared. Captain Park watched the galactic communication networks. Humanity had entered the galactic stage, not as conquerors, but as catalysts of change. We are not conquered, he whispered. We are transformers. The quantum communications continued. Each transmission a promise, each signal a revolution. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had lit the spark. A new era of galactic interaction had begun, not through military might, but through the most powerful force in the universe, knowledge.